It's race, stupid.
The issues of the utmost importance are often the ones we most often ignore. What we've learned is that in America, race matters. Those matters of race are examined, explored, and exposed right here on Socially Speaking.
Yes. Welcome back to Socially Speaking. From right here in the Redland studio in Washington, D.C., I want to pose a question to you, a socially responsible, an issue that could very well be a political issue. Fear. Fear in your elected officials, those who are either appointed or elected, those who have responsibilities to your best interest. What am I talking about? Well, this is the question of the hour. We believe that those who are paid to serve and protect us have a responsibility to do this, to carry out this job, this function, without fear. To execute it in a brave manner, because it is a conscious choice that one makes to become a police officer. And therein, we ask the question, when you're executing your duties, does race matter? Again, whether you're a police officer or whether you're an elected official, why would race matter? Glad you asked. The answer to that question is this: that one cannot be colorblind in a society that purports to be. Because of America's history, its legacy, and what we know is intentional and sometimes concerted bias, race matters. The dispensation of justice is executed unfairly or unevenly or disproportionately. That seems to be, on its face, unconstitutional. Therein lies the question: is this officer justified, can be justified, in shooting and killing a black person? Oh, which one, you may ask? Glad you asked. The time is now to understand this. We wonder if police behavior has gone back to normal after Amber Geiger was sentenced to 10 years for shooting both of them young. His family immigrated to his country, and he was in his home, in his apartment in Dallas, Texas. And the officer walked in, the female officer, a white woman, walked into his apartment. She said she believed it was hers, and she shot him. She claims to said, "Show me your hands." And if he would have, from what the reports say, he was eating ice cream, so he'd have showed her a spoon maybe. Is that justifiable fear, a reason to kill a person? Now, I don't believe any police officer comes to work thinking I'm going to violate another person's human rights. But a person does come with internal biases and even conditioned racisms within. Now, today, a Fort Worth, Texas police officer is killed an unarmed black person. Understand this, that Fort Worth police, they have shot 7 people this year. 6 of them are dead, including a Tatiana Jefferson. You see, this officer fatally shot her in her home. She was playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew when the police, answering a welfare check call, just to check on the welfare of someone who lived in this home, he was knocking, well, he wasn't knocking on anything. He was going around the house with a flashlight in one hand and a gun in the other. Now, I imagine this wasn't a white neighborhood. He didn't announce himself, according to the body cam video, and he quickly said, upon seeing the human being in the window, did he say, "Show me your hands"? As a matter of fact, here's the deal.
Tonight, authorities say the officer at the center of this fatal weekend encounter, where an innocent woman was killed inside her own home,
Put your hands up. Show me your hands.
is not cooperating with their investigation. The Fort Worth police chief saying after reviewing the video, he would have fired Officer Aaron Dean, but he quit first.
Had the officer not resigned, I would have fired him for violations of several policies, including our use of force policy.
Family members say 28-year-old Tatiana Jefferson was playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew early Saturday morning and had left the front door open to capture some of the breeze. That open door getting the attention of a neighbor who called the department's non-emergency line.
The front doors have been open since 10 o'clock, and I haven't seen anybody moving around.
Police parking around the corner to do a welfare check. In the video, you can see Officer Dean walking around the back of the home, and that he never identified himself as an officer.
Put your hands up. Show me your hands.
Within seconds, Dean firing that deadly single shot through the window, killing Jefferson in front of her nephew. The shooting comes less than 2 weeks after Amber Geiger, a former officer from the nearby Dallas Police Department, was found guilty for killing Botham Jean inside his home.
No justice, no peace.
Now, with that said, the officer no sooner as he said, "Show me your hands," he fired the weapon. Think about this. If that woman that he saw through the window looked like his mother, do you think he would have shot her? Who shoots their mama? Now, I beg of you, we are going to go through this cycle again. You might remember last year, March 23rd, I think it was, I appeared on RT, and it was over the shooting death of an unarmed man, Stephen Clark. Stephen Clark in California, Oakland, California, was shot and killed by an officer who claimed, he says, "Show me your hands." The young man was at his mother's house, or grandmother's house, when the police walked up on him and shot him. Again, no sooner as the police said it, they fired the weapon. The young man had his back turned, according to the autopsy. The federal authorities didn't take up the case. This is the problem with you not voting, because the so-called President of the United States appoints people with his like mind. And if indeed a white person is in fear every time they walk up on a black person in a stressful situation, because obviously being a police officer is deadly stressful, no joy to that, then we are in jeopardy every day we live. You see, I just wrote a new song called "The Grim Reaper Is at My Door." I wrote it because as a black person in this country, no matter where we are, how we live, where we may go, we are always under the threat of death, of murder, of being killed by incident or accident. More so in the confrontation with white males in America. In the case of Botham Jean, it was a white woman. And that says that society has transmitted its fears onto everyone else. We just celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day yesterday. Many cities are walking away from Columbus Day because of the murderous just extermination of an entire people, an entire race of people. The Spaniards who visited the Caribbean islands, killed thousands of people. So today we'll go through the 8 steps of a police shooting. First, the shock of what happened to Tatiana Jefferson, and then the outrage. Then we'll go to the call for calm. Everyone be calm. Investigations leading to nowhere. The failure to charge the officer. Then we have our kumbaya moment. We'll have amnesia. And then we're back to business as usual. Yes, the police officer resigned because the police chief said he was about to be fired. But when does this happen again? And shall we settle for it happening again? That's the question. And what does not settling look like? That's the question. You know, my mother, she called me in distress about this incident and asked the question, what are we going to do? What are they going to do in Texas? Well, it was responsible, and it was a very tough question for me to answer, of my mother. My mother doesn't want to see another black brother die. I don't want to see a black person die, not at the hands of a fearful white man. Are we choosing the wrong people to be police? What needs to change in order to bring equality to being policed? The police are necessary. Even the regret in the voice of the man who called the police, who lives with that today, who says that, had I not called the police, that woman would be alive today. It's a fact, but it ain't his fault. Whose fault is it? Does fault matter? Do we place blame? Damn skippy we do. Because human beings' lives are at stake. Your life is at stake. Yes, it can happen to a white woman too. In Minnesota, the woman on a call, she goes and calls the police. For whatever reason, the police come. She goes to the police car, taps on the window, and a black officer, not American black, shoots across his partner out the window of a car while they're sitting in the car and kills the woman. She's white. The fact of the matter is, in America, racial division brings about fear. And friend of mine, race matters. Oh, yes, it does.
Those matters of race are examined, explored, and exposed right here on Socially Speaking.
Red Media.